Whoa, 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 whoa. What's happening? It's your boy Brian Polito and the lights just went off. So for now, while someone else gets the lights on at HQ, I'm going to say welcome to the Muerta #1 Retribution Kickstarter launch event. What is up in the world, man? How y'all doing? It's cool, it's funny, we're here at HQ and automatically the lights go off at a certain time, so they just drop as soon as we got in. But anyway, welcome. If you are here on Facebook Live, it's because we're doing the Muerta #1 Retribution Kickstarter launch. So welcome, MFs. What's up?
Hey guys, hey, Jimmy Calabrese here. I am the marketing and sales manager here at Coffin Comics, and I'm proud that I was here helping bag stretch goals and bag product at the very first Muerta Kickstarter. And now I'm here for the 4th installment of the story of Muerta, and I'm very proud to be part of this. Super exciting. And even better, I have the writer of Muerta, Mike McLean, and the
creator and editor, Brian Polito. Like to welcome Mike for here and figure we get into a little Q&A.
Yeah.
So this is how the live event's gonna go. First we're gonna have a Q&A session, and then we're gonna show you a little bit about what we have going on. And then we're going to get a little deeper track about what Muerta is all about.
Okay, great. Thanks, Brian. Hey, okay, these are questions we got from the internet, from the Coffin crew out there. You guys hitting us nonstop with all these questions about Muerta, what it is. So now let's ask these guys directly here. So well, first of all, let's talk about the creative team. Mike, can you tell us about
just my background?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Mike McLean. I'm the writer of Muerta, as you mentioned, co-conspirator with Mr. Polito here. My background, I'm probably best known for my screenplays. I wrote some cheesy sci-fi monster movies, including Sharktopus, Piranhaconda. I co-wrote Dinocroc vs. Super Gator. And then I was lucky enough to meet Brian and work on comic books. Before that, however, I worked on short stories, mostly in the crime genre, a lot of hard-boiled noir stuff. So that's pretty much my writing background.
And it's interesting, although Mike is known for some of the movie stuff, it was reading your crime short stories that made me believe that you'd be the perfect fit to tell the tale of Muerta.
That's really where my heart is in the crime noir
True.
genre.
what exactly what would you describe it as Muerta as?
Well, it is a crime story. It's hard-boiled. The imagery definitely has a film noir take to it, but with a southwestern Mexican flair in the noir. The writing is a crime story, vigilante story, but with a supernatural element.
Yep. Yeah, and what I would add to that too, what would I add? No, everything you said is accurate.
So
well, I think revenge too, and I think we'll get into that in part 2 of our discussion, but revenge is very crucial to this story and an exploration of what revenge is about.
So once again, we're here for a Kickstarter. So I know a lot of people don't understand Kickstarter, what it's about, and why are we actually doing a Kickstarter?
Yep.
Would you like to explain that for?
Well, sure. Kickstarter is what's called a crowdfunding platform, and this is an opportunity for people who may like what we're offering to get on board and quote unquote back it. Back is, in a sense, backing a Kickstarter is another term for pre-ordering in our case. We've done 11 Kickstarters previously, and by the time we get to a Kickstarter, like we're about to launch ours in less than a half hour, everything is complete except printing it. And this is a way for us, our company, to reach a very, very broad spectrum of people around the world. So there is a glossary of terms related to Kickstarter, which we can help people who are new to Kickstarter understand. But broadly, it's a crowdfunding platform, in our case, that allows us to get creative material out into the world.
But this means we're lesser of we're not, because we use Kickstarter, that's bad, right? It makes us seem less of a...
Well, that's not how I view it. I love when people view it that way, because they don't get it. Kickstarter in onto itself is a community. And working through the platform Kickstarter, we've actually been able to reach thousands and thousands of people on our previous Kickstarters. I mean, I'm happy to brag right here and right now that due to the contributions from people around the world, Coffin Comics has raised over $1.25 million on comic book related Kickstarters. That is an incredible way to reach a ton of people. So I say for the people who are not into Kickstarter, who are bad-mouthing it, or bad-mouth us for doing it, you keep worrying that way, and we'll just keep charting the future.
But this means we have corporate overlords that we have we have to succumb to, right? You have editors that you have to approve the stories for, right?
Mike, who are the corporate overlords that we're answering to at Coffin Comics?
The closest thing to a corporate overlord would
Yes,
be
I would be the
Mr.
corporate
Bryan.
overlord,
Oh,
and
man,
largely
that's
this is just a
Taskmaster.
creative experience.
So you have no one to, oh, you have just you and the fans, right?
I answer to the fiends.
Why is it, so why are we the only ones really doing it? It doesn't make sense.
I don't know why more people don't do it or use the platform, and I'm not too particularly worried about them using the platform. I just, before we got onto Kickstarter as a way of communicating to a broader population, it's something that we decided was how we would chart our future. That's the entire story. But that's enough on Kickstarter, more about Muerta and what we're here for.
Right. So I love the revenge aspect of the story. Like reading it, it's just like, you know, that's just the core. Everyone feels revenge in there. So,
Well,
Maria.
for the first chapters, we really looked at a lot of film, actually. Revenge films out there, and it's such a visceral genre that I think everybody has felt that one time they just wanted to get even with somebody. So yeah, for Maria Diaz, that in the beginning is definitely her driving force to avenge her family that were slaughtered by this drug cartel on Dia de los Muertos.
Exactly. Yeah, and not only revenge onto itself, but what is the cost?
Right.
I mean, particularly, you know, we see a whole long arc for Maria, and we're kind of taking a look at, if you choose this path, the path of revenge and vengeance, what's its impact on you?
Mm-hmm. I kind of equated a little bit to the Punisher, where the Punisher and it has become dead inside, essentially. He's a killing machine. La Muerta is still very human, and this violent path that she has taken is taking a toll on her and her humanity. So she's not that destructive machine yet, but she's kind of inching towards that path.
Yeah, and in particularly, I think when we're looking at the story that we're kickstarting right now, which is called Retribution, she's further along and further into it than she's ever been. Mm-hmm. You know, in a sense, she's completed the quote-unquote revenge for the murders of her family, yet she's embroiled in a brand new adventure, and it's as if a new quest for vengeance, and it's as if a higher force is calling her into it. And the question is, are they or aren't they?
So I love the Z crew. I love the characters, the evil characters that she's taking revenge on, those guys. So where do you get the ideas for those guys? Or just like...
For the Z crew, that was really a lot of brainchild between Brian and myself, just talking about the interesting thing about the Z crew. Each character we thought would be in charge of one element of the crime world. So you have
to offer people a broader perspective for a second, the Z crew is short for the Zavala family, which is headed up by a woman named Mama Z. And then, as you said, we had all the other characters who head up elements of the cartel, whether it's the drug operation, prostitution, you know, Diablo, all our happy-go-lucky villainous characters. But in this particular story, can we talk a little bit about the villains for this story, Retribution?
So we shift to a different villain this time, Brujo, who is basically he's a gang lord, but also a modern-day warlock. And he has a nefarious plan that's really kind of mysterious. We don't really totally know what his motives are, but he seems to be collecting illegal immigrants, undocumented immigrants, and kidnapping them for some nefarious purpose. So these are very vulnerable victims that he is taking advantage of.
Yeah, and it's just the knowledge of a particular child dying that brings Maria into this particular story, and where she actually can't get out of the story, because as it unfolds, there's just more and more to keep her there. Right. And it does bring her, in this chapter, in a collision course with Brujo, Well, that's a little bit about the story, but you did say Kickstarter, and maybe people want to know a little bit more about our Kickstarter. Should we show people what we have to offer?
Yeah, well, this is it, right? Just this one book?
No, actually, this is a Kickstarter campaign, Jimmy Calabrese, so there's actually a little bit more than just a particular story. Can I show folks?
Yeah, I think we'd love to see it. What do you guys think?
You guys
Come on.
want to see? Let's check it out. So welcome to the Future Lady Death Museum, and tonight welcome to the infomercial part of our show, where we're going to show you a little bit about what we have to offer during the La Muerta #1 Retribution Kickstarter campaign. And Miss Cameraman Francisco Polito, I'd ask you to come a little closer because I'm going to show you a couple
Camera
of things.
lady.
Camera lady. Some of our main rewards, they're called rewards in Kickstarter, that we're offering are actually the soft cover edition with the cover by Mr. Richard Ortiz, colored by Coffin Comics colorist CC De La Cruz. And inside is a 48-page story written by Mike McLean, illustrated by Joel Gomez, colored by CC De La Cruz, and lettered by veteran letterer Marshall Dillon. I provided editorial work on this one, and very proud of what the team has pulled together. Now, comics are really fun, and we like to do different editions of a limited nature to get people excited. So the next edition we have is called the Homage, and that is by the one and only Mr. Murat Michaels, Dan Feldmeyer. This is an homage to the famous ASM 129, which introduces the Punisher. To the right, you will notice this is, by the way, these are all mock-ups that we made. This is a mock-up of the hardcover edition with the insane cover by Jen Brumhall. Look at how cool that is. It's a really crazy, risky cover, I thought. It's fantastic. To the right, we have, this will be the jeweled edition by Colette Turner. And this cover marries very nicely with the jeweled edition of this year's Lady Death Apocalyptic Abyss cover. If you'll take a look, the two of them side by side, they actually have similar poses. Now, when we're thinking about doing a naughty cover, it's always great to invite an old buddy of mine, Mr. Mike DiBalfo. He's a one and only. And if you please take a look at the naughty cover edition, that is our character Sombra. And Sombra...
Oh, there she is.
That Sombra is actually a rockabilly witch-inspired character in our story. So hence, we have her amidst a pentagram and skulls and candles. Fun character. It's fun with all, I don't know how you feel, but every time we introduce a character, we just get a couple pages. It's like Sombra deserves a story, Sangre deserves a story. It's almost like, you know how it is, right?
Yeah, not enough time in the day to write all their stories.
Not enough time in the day. To the right, actually, Sora Song has provided our metal edition cover. Check that out. Now, we know that some people like comics and some people like prints, so I'm just showing you a small selection of prints that we'll be offering during the Kickstarter campaign. We like to do the commemorative edition, so this is the main cover image and the naughty, and then even the homage will be available as part. Now, what I wanted to bring up to you is, excuse me, I have to burp while I do my...
Oh my God.
Here.
Oh dear.
If, for example, you backed our last Kickstarter campaign, Vengeance, I wanted to show you what you would get for $24, shipping included, domestic. So first you would get the soft cover edition as an example, featuring 48 pages of story and art by the aforementioned team. But we are also known for our extravagant stretch goal packs. So again...
What's a stretch goal?
So a stretch goal would be, as we seek future funding inside our Kickstarter, every time we hit a financial plateau, we quote-unquote unlock a new goodie. And sometimes we're letting people know what they are, sometimes they're a surprise. In the case of our last Lady Death, which raised over $230,000, we unlocked something in excess of 27 stretch goals, including a challenge coin. In this particular case, I want to show if you spent $24, what you would get. You would get all these cool trading cards, a button, a sugar skull tattoo, refrigerator magnet, guitar pick, stickers, bumper sticker, drink coaster, calendar, bookmark, mega sticker, several mini prints, and even a little note that I like to send.
Wait, all that for free?
Well,
You get all that with your...
you would get all that for a $24 pledge, and if you were pledging inside the United States, it would be $24 all in. So that's what you would get. So again, that's another incentive. We have a long habit of doing these kinds of things. So let me move on. Another interesting element that we offer during our Kickstarters is called the mystery envelope. So inside the mystery envelope will be a series of limited edition books. And I am here displaying the limited editions that we have to offer. All art by Joel Gomez, illustrator of La Muerta. So for example, on the top row you see the Necro editions. They're each only limited to 30 copies apiece. On the next row, you will see editions that range in limitation from 45 all the way down to 15, each individually named. But that's not all. I'd like to point out that we're also putting into the Kickstarter 5 originally painted covers by Joel Gomez. These are completely original. No two are alike, as you can see. It's ones like these that will be included if you pledge the mystery envelope. The mystery envelope is actually only $41, and it will also include all of our stretch packs. But that's not all, because we actually have what's called a tier. And tiers are rewards that climb in potential value. So, in some of our upper tier rewards, we're offering editions by Mr. Dan Mendoza, offering editions by Jesse Witchman. You want to get a closer look in here on the Dan Mendozas. They're part of our High Roller and Mega Baller tier. And then these other editions, we have the Holo Assassin, where we reimagine La Muerta as a James Bond-like assassin. This will be holofoil, limited to 77. And this is just a mock-up, but this will be metal and jewel. This is by Mr. Jesse Witchman. Woo, woo, woo. Now, the ultimate tier on this La Muerta is kind of ridiculous. And again, we're known for doing the craziness. So please take a look at what we call the original art edition. What we're doing here is we're asking series illustrator Joel Gomez to do an edition. The overall edition is, just look at this one over here. Don't look at that one there yet. So this is limited to 15 overall. And what Joel will do over here is 15 original pieces of art. So each one will be unique. Also included in that particular reward tier is this edition called La Muerta #1 Retribution Edition, Legend Edition, with artwork by Brandon Peterson, longtime veteran, top tier talent, working for Marvel, DC, Top Cow. Arguably, this is the smallest limited edition that Brandon Peterson has ever been involved in. It's limited to 15. When this edition is complete, we're retiring this image. This will be the only use of the image as a comic book cover. It will be a print, it will be a card, but that's it for comics. So that is a broad overview of what the Kickstarter has to offer. Anything you'd like to offer? And that's broadly. Please do check when we go live at 7 p.m., which is in how long, Nick?
In 12 minutes.
We're going live in 12 minutes. That's a little taste. Anything you would add to this part of it?
I would just say Joel Gomez's art is phenomenal for this book. It's a perfect match, and seeing his book covers on video just doesn't do them justice. When you see them, the watercolors and the special editions in real life, it's just they just pop off the cover.
That's one of the
amazing.
One of the cool things about Joel is every day he's driven to do better, and he's very difficult. He's really tough on himself. So, I mean, I could say easily without fail that Retribution is his best work. He doesn't even like going back and looking at his earlier stuff, but Retribution is super knockout stuff. The storytelling is really, really lively, and all of our objectives, I mean, I've thought it's been great since the beginning, but it's really getting sharper and sharper all the time.
Yeah, he really has his finger on the pulse of the story and the imagery that goes around along with it.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. Joel's definitely been all in. Another too, it's like, Joel, by the way, welcome Joel to Facebook. I think he just got on Facebook today, and his handle is La Muerta Joel.
I think so.
So maybe he's on now. If he is, Joel, thanks for everything. You are great. You and Beth have been very supportive of this project and where we're going. The other thing too, before we get back to like a little more Q&A, I just want to let you know that it's pretty fascinating. I actually invented the concept of La Muerta in the fall of 2012. And I knew intellectually I wanted to do a revenge story because I find revenge to be very, very rich subject. And some of my favorite films involve the topic. Some done better than others. But so I was walking around knowing intellectually I wanted to do a revenge story. And then around, it was October, November of 2012, I actually happened to be in Tucson, Arizona. And I was a witness to the All. And that is a community-based event that occurs around Dia de los Muertos, which is the Mexican holiday, Day of the Dead. When I started seeing the trappings and I saw the outreach and I saw the emotion, I started realizing that this would be the perfect milieu to glove this type of story where we're going to explore the nature of revenge.
Oh my God! Can I tell you guys, Joel Gomez mystery envelope items? Oh my God, that's insane. Like you said, you can't understand what it looks like until you actually hold it and you can see the paint strokes and the brush. Oh,
It's beautiful.
wonderful stuff. So, all right, guys, I love that you use the folklore in the new story, and you're pulling more of the Mexican folklore and Mexican American folklore into it. Where did you come up with that idea for?
Well, Brian and I talked about it for a while. You've always wanted to do a Llorona story,
Yes.
correct? And that's a story, I've been familiar with that since grade school. I remember the kids on the playground telling me that story and just being mesmerized by it. The idea that there's this woman's going to get you if you're being naughty and pull you into the canal. So I've always been fascinated by that story, and then the idea that she could be related to the Spanish conquistadors and their conquest. I've always been very interested in that history.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I was going to say too, it's like baked into La Muerta's story is the question of, is the supernatural real or not real? And I think in the introduction of La Llorona, and this one I always have trouble saying her name, we're veering more towards the supernatural is real, but it always is a question of in our exploration.
Yeah, and slinging comic books at the cons and like showing people, having folks to see the art in person and you describe the story, and they just go crazy for it. So you guys, well done on that. It's just,
Thanks. Yeah, we've seen people up front. We've traveled the country and we see people get converted right before our eyes. Because I also feel like we didn't do this in any cynical manner, but we just see people saying, oh my God, that represents me, or I've never had a hero. And it was just something that we stepped into. It wasn't, cynical. And it actually we're very grateful that many people have enjoyed her. And actually a lot of people from the military, active and former military, because she's ex-military herself, people feel like a sense of pride that she also was a soldier.
Yeah, that answered my question about that. Yeah, that's great. I love that aspect of Maria.
Yeah, we did that because it seems very practical. It's like for her to be as audacious as she is and take down an entire crime cartel, she at least has to have some measure of training.
Yeah,
and even in the face of all that training, it's pretty crazy. In the first storyline, she dismantles an entire crime cartel, but you believe it because she has enough training to kind of start the quest.
I think you guys already answered this question, but I'm going to answer it again. So why didn't you just do your wheelhouse and stick with supernatural chicks? Like why'd you go take a whole different direction?
She's actually still a true supernatural chick, but
Yeah.
yeah, we just like to tell whatever story we're going to tell.
It's a chance to tell a crime story as opposed to just a supernatural dark fantasy story.
Yeah.
Which I know we're both interested in.
Yep.
It's just another genre that is a joy to explore.
Yeah, I would say too, I am a huge fan of crime, but I defer to Mike and his expertise. I see the work and I know how sharp he sees it. I'm an enjoyer. I've loved 100 Bullets, Punisher. I like watching crime stories like Fargo. So to work on the book, not only as creator but in an editorial capacity, it's fun because I get to be the first reader in a sense, where I get to challenge Mike and that kind of stuff.
Always in a good way.
Yeah.
So here's a question I get a lot. People love the dreamy Mexi noir kind of artwork and the scenery that Joel's created, and people are asking, where is it located at? Where is the story being told? It seems like is it like a fantasy southwestern city, or is it a specific?
I think we left it vague purposefully,
Yeah.
so that people could feel Like it's a little bit otherworldly, but it's still very gritty and real.
Yep.
So we purposefully left that vague.
Yeah, we've never said what city it is. Clearly, it is Southwest, but we haven't said, you know, Austin, Albuquerque, Phoenix.
Yeah, sometimes it feels like East LA, sometimes it seems like New Mexico, and sometimes Phoenix, so it just feels, yeah, like a dreamlike thing in there. So, okay, so you mentioned, you know, revenge, and it seems like Maria has a real struggle with that, so it's not just a one-dimensional character. It seems like you guys created something a lot more where she like really has to fight with the...
Yeah, it's certainly not a done deal for Maria when she, you know, quote unquote, picks up the sword metaphorically and charges into action. It's not over. It's truly begun because she's always grappling and struggling with the choices. I mean, we're actually deep into chapter 6, and this is just chapter 4 now. And trust me, it's still a struggle for Maria. Well, I'll tell you what. I know that we're getting close to the launch. How many more minutes till we launch?
5 minutes.
We have 5 minutes.
Whoa.
4 now. I'll tell you what, let's go have a shot before we do this, if you guys want.
Yeah.
Because after all, it is Coffin Comics.
Shot.
Here.
Shot.
So you either want this one or Don Julio. Oh, this is coming out nice and slow.
I love this flask. Like, how do you even hide this?
Yeah, how do you hide that one, dude?
It defeats the purpose of a flask.
Brian, do you want to introduce everybody that's here?
Sure, I'll pour and introduce at the exact same time. Jimmy, take over introductions, please.
We got the Nick Gallegos here. You see him when you ever have a problem, he is the master of customer service. He's going to handle you.
Oh boy.
So,
He's gonna handle you.
I'm also the
Oh, boy.
OG.
the original
The OG.
gangster. And then we got Coop here.
So one badass in
guess.
MF.
That's right. You can see him. He's in the cover of the latest comic books. He's he's the real deal. And then we have Miss Brandy, who gets out your comics on time, all the time, every time.
All right, everybody, and behind the cameras, Francisca Polita. She is our presidente. Who didn't get introduced? Everybody get introduced? I was so busy pouring. Well, just in a couple minutes, folks, we are, tonight we decided this one was to be kind of intimate. We want to reintroduce La Muerta and ourselves to people who may or may not be familiar with our material. And we want to, Nick, squish in,
Nick.
Squeak in, squeeze
Get
in. We can't
closer.
see you, man. So it's a little more intimate. So we're gonna have this, shot, and then we're gonna launch. We can't bring Jimmy in here.
This is why I can't have nice things.
All right, let's put them up, everybody.
Put 'em up.
So here's to La Muerta. Thank you to everybody outside. Please pledge. We're going to go live in just a couple minutes. So stick with us. We're not done yet. So here we go.
Folks online are saying cheers, shots.
Cheers. What's our time now?
We had 2 minutes.
All right, let's get into position in the warehouse.
Uh-oh,
Go.
Keep going.
Come on, everybody. We're going into the warehouse for the launch. Come on.
You have to save the wares.
Save
Let's
it.
go. Go, kid. Get in position. Nick's got his rock star.
Such an 80.
That's right. I am an AD. That's who you work for. Deal with it.
Ooh, the new Naughtier hardcovers just came in today. This is where your books go out.
Yes, it's awkward. So, hey, we decided just to come into the warehouse and do this. Also want to let you know that Joel Gomez has been kind enough to provide completely original art that is being given away as prizes when you share our La Muerta Kickstarter. Some people have already won. Here's some others that are going on. Anybody got our time? Keep an eye on the countdown, man. We got a minute to go. The Key Collectors Comics app is participating. The Collectors Corner, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. People are all eligible to win. We're going to go live in a couple minutes. We're here with the crew, tight-knit crew. What do we, how much?
We got 40 seconds.
40 to go, 40 to go, 40 to go. We invite you all to pledge. If you don't know how to pledge, we're going to post information on how to do it. If you still have questions about what Kickstarter is, we're going to attach the how-to to the beginning of this video. Tell us when we're closer. What do we got?
25 seconds.
25 seconds. I don't know what else there is to say. It's 20 seconds. We're going to start counting down from 15.
Sir, 15.
15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's launch this Kickstarter.
Launching.
Okay, La Muerte #1 Kickstarter is officially launched. We are launched. We are launched. We are launched.
We did it!
Yeah, we did it. We're launched now. 30 days to go. And now, right now, what Nick's doing initially is sharing our URLs. We're gonna. Our light went out again.
It must be
Friendly.
We broke the internet.
Broke the internet again. Well, folks, yeah, we do invite you to pledge and be part of this. One of the cool things I think about La Muerta.
The link's on Facebook, everyone, on Lady Death Universe. So visit Lady Death Universe on Facebook to see the link, or you can go to ladydeathuniverse.com and it's posted there too.
So we are live.
And they can also go directly to Kickstarter and search for it on Kickstarter.
Yeah, but if you want the direct link, you can go to either one of those two places.
Yeah, we're on Facebook right now, so you can get the link further up on the wall.
Right.
And it's there. So, thank you very much. I don't know how we're doing. Who knows?
Wow, Scott is in for the ultimate. Thank you,
Whoa.
Scott. No.
Scott, no.
Yes.
What's up, man?
No.
I saw you putting those shelves up earlier today.
Nice. Does anybody have any questions for
We're here,
Brian,
man.
Or
Brian,
any
Mike,
questions?
the crew.
Well, it takes a while for people to put in.
Well, while
questions.
you're figuring it out, let me show you these cool. Look what we got in here. These giant pallets. We're
gonna hit goal really soon here.
Oh,
what?
Whoa, dude. So okay, I didn't know. Let's get.
We're
Whoa.
at $8,444.
What?
Are you serious?
Yes.
Holy macaroni.
Whoa. Let's time the goal. Keep an eye on the time. Let's time the goal. I think we got a shot at the goal really fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Holy mackerel. Who knew? That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Kunal.
Whoa. We went over. Whoa, we're close.
94.12.
Whoa.
Kunal just pledged for the ultimate. Thank you,
Awesome.
Kunal, thank you, man.
Thanks, Kunal.
You got to make it out to Phoenix again, and we got to see your face again.
Or at least for
What kind of time we got?
coming up special.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. That's incredible.
What?
That's amazing, man. Thank you for liking.
Jesse James is watching live. Hi, Jesse.
Hello, Jesse James. Thanks, everybody. It's pretty incredible.
Troy's backer 16.
Whoa. Goal. Pass goal. What's the time? Way past goal.
1902. So yeah, 1902. So
1902. What did we
2.5
think?
minutes.
Two-
We thought like last time it was like almost an hour.
I got 2:18.
2:18.
2 minutes and 18
Somewhere
seconds.
around 2 minutes and 18 minutes.
And 18
That's crazy.
seconds.
Here, take a look. That's amazing. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
I'm curious. Has our
Whoa, we just went over 12.
Wow, man, that's amazing. Who knew? It's cool, man. What I could tell you, like,
Retribution set's sold out, guys.
oh wow,
What? It's
Oh,
all.
wow.
It's gone?
wow.
Oh. Ultimate is all gone.
Thanks for backing the ultimate. Every time I do those, I don't know how it's going to go. But I was thinking intellectually, like 15 copies of a Brandon Peterson is pretty crazy. That's amazing.
Dang. We're all just kind of taking that one in right now.
Right?
That just kind of all made us go,
What?
Wow.
that the ultimate went so fast.
Yeah, it went really
Thank
fast.
you so much.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
You know, I appreciate that you like the collectability of this. I think, I'm going to make a prediction here. Like, we're going to look back 5-10 years from now and going to be really surprised at Maria Diaz's impact on pop culture, because I really don't think this is really the beginning of her journey, telling her story in graphic novel format. I believe that there's other formats that she could be appropriate for, and we're really looking forward to a time where people get to see her story in other kind of formats. Well, that's amazing, man. We just are cranking away here right off the bat. Tell you what, let's go back over into the museum. And, wow, that was really fast.
Oh, there's no lights.
But we don't have any lights.
Turn on the lights.
Hope you guys did your patch sets.
Here we go. That's amazing. That's amazing.
I remember.
That's amazing.
Yeah, man, who knows? I don't know, man. Let's everybody crowd on in. Let's,
Wow.
what do you think? It's pretty crazy. Again, we're so happy that we could bring this story to you. Anything anybody want to say in conclusion
Thank
for
you.
tonight?
Thank you.
so much.
You're going to want to thank everybody who's involved with Coffin Comics. I expressed a little bit today. I these days, you know, it's tough to do your work day on a Kickstarter launch day. Jimmy and I were talking about that. You know,
Things on your head.
very excited, and it's hard to concentrate. But you know, like very practical things are happening throughout the day. Like today, I'm doing the fine tuning for getting actually La Muerta Retribution to the printer along with the trade paperback. By the way, since I'm always a shill, let me mention that. If you have not read Maria's story, we're on the Kickstarter now, we're actually offering the La Muerta Lives Volume 1 trade paperback and the hardcover, cover by Alex Ronald, and cover here by Matt Meerhoff, frequent contributor. And this is a 160-page trade. It's also available in a special edition, and it has additional 8 pages at the end with an inside to her. It's a sketchbook origins sneak peek look into her origins. So amazing stuff, man. How we doing? One more check-in. Who knows?
Almost 15.
Whoa! Stop the clock.
That was funny.
Folks, we have 30 days. Thank you very much for backing La Muerta. A couple other announcements. I did mention the Late Naughty are coming out. What other fun things can I tell you coming up this weekend? Because it's just getting hot here in Phoenix, so we wish it was fall. So we're celebrating by having a halfway to Halloween sale on the Lady Death store. You know, it's a way of kind of. Yep, Phoenix Comic Fest. New name is coming up at the end of the month. Mike will be there. I'll be there. The whole crew will be there. So kind of make it on out. We're going to have news about the next Lady Death Kickstarter, which premieres. The next Lady Death Kickstarter is in August. And news about November's Kickstarter launch, which it has a different vibe than La Muerta completely. It's the craziest book we've ever done, and we'll talk more about it in the near future. Is there anything else anybody would like to say before we sign off and let everybody have their night?
La Muerta lives.
La Muerta lives. Because of you, La Muerta lives. You, Francisca?
Well, I would like to say something about La Muerta, but I don't think I'm allowed to.
You are not,
I'm going to keep it quiet.
Right.
I know, you don't.
Some good stuff brewing about La Muerta. It's not our place to say, but again, mark our words.
Pop the clutch.
Yeah, pop the clutch. The Maria Diaz's story is going to have a great impact around the world in time. Anything else for anybody? If not, you guys have been great. I've been Brian Polito. This has been the Coffin crew. We welcome you and thank you so much for backing La Muerta #1, Retribution. Talk to you in the funny pages.